Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, and thank you for tuning back into St. Andrew TV, a cure for your Monday blues. I am your host, Andrew, and today we have another cooking video for everyone. We are making Navajo Fry Bread, and this recipe is pretty simple. I will give you a little bit of history, and then we will proceed to make the Navajo Fry Bread. So if you follow me along, I hope you enjoy. So before we begin, I would like to give a little backstory about Navajo Fry Bread. It does not have the greatest history. In fact, it is a pretty dark history of why Navajo Fry Bread came to be. Navajo Fry Bread was because the Navajo were being displaced from northern Arizona to New Mexico in 1864 in what we call the Long Walk. And this was from the government rations that they gave the Navajo tribe when they were making their long trek. However, in the latter half of the 1860s, with the Treaty of 1868, they did return home to northern Arizona, but this is a recipe that came from that very dark time for the Navajo people. So one more thing right before we begin, I would like to point out that this video is linked to a Navajo Nation charity. I do not feel right about taking money from a recipe that came out of such pain and suffering for that group of people. So please watch this video, share it with your friends. Let's see if we can get a bunch of money going over to the people who created this out of a lot of suffrage. So without further ado, let's make some fry bread. Now, I chose the traditional recipe because I would like to stay as historically accurate as humanly possible here on this channel. And what the recipe calls for traditional Navajo fry bread is 3 cups of flour, which I have in my beautiful pink bowl that you see on many cooking videos here on St. Andrew TV. That is accompanied with 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a ½ teaspoon of salt, which is in this white bowl here. And that is all going to be binded by a 1.5 cups of hot water. And that is what's going to make our dough. And as I'm saying this, I would implore that you go to your skillet and get it filled up with some lard, some vegetable oil, or in my case, since I can't have vegetable oil, canola oil, and get it ready because this is fry bread. You are going to deep fry this, and you're going to want that at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to take our salt and our baking powder and slowly just dump it in with our 3 cups of flour. And we are going to proceed to take this wooden spoon here and we are going to mix it together very thoroughly. So the next step in the process is to slowly add the hot water into your dough and consistently mix it with this here wooden spoon. So we're going to add a little water here, just like so, and we are going to mix. I will note, once you complete this portion of adding all the water that is required for this recipe, that your dough will be quite sticky. But we will get to that here in a bit. For anybody wondering why there's a screen on my right-hand side, your left, that is the recipe. I'm just reading. Shockingly enough, I can do that. All right, now that our water is completely gone, the 1.5 cups that we needed to add to this little mixture of flour, salt, and baking powder, and now that all of that is mixed together, this is the part where you cover it with plastic wrap, or if you'd like to be a little bit more accurate, cover it with a towel and let it set for 60 minutes, and then we will move on to kneading it, and then we will move on to cutting it into little circular shapes, where there we will start to deep fry. So like I said, this dough is going to be really sticky, and this is actually after it sat for 60 minutes. And we are going to take it out of our bowl here, and we are now going to stretch it out and get it nice and flat, where we can now divide it into a couple sections where we can deep fry it easier. Like I said, a little sticky. Add a little more flour if need be, like I had to, because it was very sticky when I brought it out. But it is now starting to take its form, and we will get to the portion of cutting it up. It is also important to note that at this point in the dough is you don't want to over knead it. Otherwise, it will not take as well. And what I mean by that is the finished product will be a little tougher to eat, a little bit more of a like a cracker, and you want it to be soft on the inside. Now that we're at this point, I'm going to use this rolling pin that I actually was gifted by Chef Gordon Ramsay when I visited him in Scotland. I won a pickleball game and he gave me this rolling pin. Alright, now that your dough is nice and kneaded, you're going to take it into little chunks like this, or probably a little bit more than that, and you are going to roll it out. Get some flour on it first and roll it out until it is relatively flat, like so. Now this is an interesting portion because you can even poke a hole in it if you so choose. That is what sometimes they did. So if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome to. So I'll do one with a hole in the middle, and we are going to just set it on our tray, and that's where it's going to get its little fry bath. It's going to get a little bath when it goes into the oil, fat, whatever you want to use with it. And you'll notice with this recipe it actually calls for salt, so it'll hold everything together nice. It'll have a better taste. Now when you roll these out, these do not have to be perfect circles. They can have some errors. You are just making, you know, rough little circular, somewhat circular, semicircular pieces that you're going to throw in a pan full of grease, fat, or oil that is at 350 degrees, and you are going to cook them until they're golden brown. Make sure you get both sides, and that is all you need to do when it comes to how to prepare them. Now make sure you get a pan or cast iron. Make sure that they do get submerged, or at least, you know, the full side gets submerged, and then flip them over if you do not have enough room to completely submerge them, but you're going to want to flip them halfway through. Make sure they are nice and golden brown. Here is the first batch that is going to go into the little bath that I have waiting for them, and as I do that, I'm going to work on some more that will get their bath soon enough. So here is what the fry bread looks like after it gets its little oil bath. I cooked these for about 2 minutes aside max. You can see I've already dug into one to give it a little try. I am somebody who, if they had celiac disease or like a glucose allergy, I would cease to exist. I love bread. And with that being said, after I take a bite and give you my honest reaction on the fry bread, I'm going to eat it with this beautiful medium rare steak. I did not even assume steak duties tonight. This was my partner making this, and she put it at a perfect medium rare. I don't trust you if you cook your steaks past this point right here. Now, I did note that you are going to need a good bit of oil to deep fry these in. And the reason is that if you do knead these right, if you do put together the dough correctly, they should float almost immediately, which mine did, and that's why you are required to flip them. But enough of all that. We are going to give an honest review on Navajo Fry Bread now that it is all completed. And as you can see, there is a little bit of foreshadowing to see if I liked it or not. Means half of the one that I put the hole in is already gone. So, down the hatch. This is, bar none, the best thing that I've made on this channel. And this must be the American in me, that it's deep fried, and of course it's fatty, it's It's all over the place. It's so good that I legitimately just want to store this in my kitchen. So I'm wandering around after the late shift, just come here and mow down some fry bread. This is delicious on its own. So I'm actually gonna grab a little slice of some sirloin here, and I'm going to eat it with my next bite. Got a little fatty piece there. That is absolutely delicious. Like I told you, this is by far the best recipe we've made on this channel. This trumps Hellfire Stew, which was a good dish that you could eat as a standalone, and it was pretty decent, but this is something that you can add brown sugar to, or even just plain sugar, or you can add something hearty like stew or chili and like scoop it with the fry bread. It's fantastic. I would like to note that elephant ears that you get at like the fair or the carnival or something like that are just, you know, it's a variation of fry bread that is doused in sugar. So if you like elephant ears, you're going to enjoy this, and you can even make your homemade elephant ears. These surpass anything that we've made on this channel. This is fantastic. And all the stuff that I'm going to cut out kind of proves that it's really good, because I keep mowing it down like a hog. To be frank, I might eat this whole damn plate before Labor Day kicks, and I'm filming this September 1st. I don't know if this will survive the long weekend. Let me swallow my food and say goodbye to everyone. There's also variations that you can, you know, replace the water with milk. You can add some eggs. You can add a little sugar, which, I mean, the possibilities are endless with this dish in particular. I'm a fan. So with that being said, as I said at the beginning of the video, please watch it. Please share it with all your friends. Like I said, the ad revenue is going to go towards a Navajo Nation charity, as this is their recipe, it is not mine. Thank you to everyone getting this far into the video. I certainly do appreciate it. Please leave a like on this video if you've enjoyed it, or leave me a comment stating what you liked, or tell me what I should do next. I have a Patreon that is linked down in the description, or it should be showing up at the bottom of your screen here. If you enjoy the content that you see on St. Andrew TV and would like to continue to support it, feel free to leave a donation over on Patreon. However, that is not to feel any obligation to do so. The content that you see on YouTube will forever remain free. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed as of late, but for those of you who have come across this channel or this video here today, maybe because you like content on the old frontier, maybe you just wanted to learn a new recipe from said frontier, or maybe you just got this far in the video to wish me a fair, good fry, think about hitting that subscribe button, because you're a daisy if you do.